We don't do that in Australia. We've always had great backs. If he was a coach of Australia, we played that style, mate, I wouldn't have scored 64 tries. The best combinations that I know, this is what I think, is McDermott and Donaldson, 9 and 10. They played together before. I don't know why we have wingers. Really, I really don't know, because the ball never goes out there.
Is there anything that you saw which says that the Wallabies can get back into the series and win the second test?
Look, I think if you get the right combinations out there, mate, I think you can.
DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
He's a legend of Australian rugby, played over 100 tests for the Wallabies, won a World Cup in 91, played against the Lions in 1989. He's a great mate of the show, and we welcome him back warmly. David Campese joins us. G'day.
Morning, guys. How you going?
Well, your thoughts first and foremost on that first test against the Lions. From this side of the microphone, from this side of the Tasman, we all think that you looked weak up front, that you just had no go forward at all, that you kept going backwards, too many box kicks, kicked the ball away. And so you guys like Swalei, I mean, how do you give that guy the ball in a position where he's one-on-one and going to take somebody on when you just physically can't gain any momentum against the Lions?
Mate, that's been a problem for the last couple of years. And again, I'm going to say it. We don't like a New Zealand coach because Smith likes mauling the ball for 22 metres out. We don't do that in Australia. We've always had great backs. If he was a coach of Australia, we played that style, mate, I wouldn't have scored 64 tries. That was our strength, was our attack in the 22, the backline movement, everyone changing angles. Mate, it doesn't help when you have one warm-up game. Some of these guys had rest. They didn't play for their province. And it's just ridiculous, mate. I was quite surprised Australia did pretty well. I think the Lions ran out of pup towards the end, but some of the players, one of the back rows I have never heard of. I mean, I just find it strange that we keep on picking these players. You go, well, mate, we've got these players in Australia who've been playing. We've got a system here called GPS. And I don't understand where we've got to bring Skelton back. We've been players from overseas who haven't played with these guys for 12 months. To me, at the top level, the best teams in the world, the teams have always had combinations under pressure. And the best combinations that I know, this is what I think, is McDermott and Donaldson, 9 and 10. They played together before. They played against Fiji a couple of weeks ago. Then the coach changes it again, and he'll probably change again this week. And I just find you've got James O'Connor, who played great rugby for the Crusaders. He couldn't get a contract out here. And I don't know, why make a fuss about it, not even use him? He's been very good 20 minutes ago. And again, mate, the game's won up the front in the forwards. If you haven't got the forwards to compete, you're going to struggle. And from the word go, I mean, that's where the problems were.
Can you get back into this series? Is there anything that you saw? Okay, you said the Lions, you think, got a bit tired towards the end. Did they button off, though? It felt like that game was won after they scored just after half-time. Is there anything that you saw which says that the Wallabies can get back into the series and win the second test?
Look, I think if you get the right combinations out there, mate, I think you can. And that's why you need McDermott and Donaldson. Donaldson's come from a club called Randwick, where I played, the Ellers. And he's one of those guys that's got good vision. He wants to have a go. I'm not saying Lyon didn't play bad, but I mean, you just got to have consistency week in, week out, and pick. I don't think Smith's picked the same number 9, number 10 in every test match, or captain. We have a different captain every 5 minutes. Get consistency. We won Rugby World Cups where we had the same team for about 8 years. And, Timmy Horan knew exactly what I was going to do. I knew where he was going when I passed the ball to him against the Kiwis. I knew I could see him coming, I could hear him. Because it's the familiarity of the players around you. Every time you have something new, it takes a while to adjust. And we saw that. The ball never got out. I don't know why we have wingers. Really, I really don't know, because the ball never goes out there. So look, I just think we just got to pick some mongrels in the forwards, and take them on and just go for the 80 minutes, guys. I mean, that's part of international rugby. To say the game's not over until the fact that lady sings or the referee blows the whistle.
Campo, in terms of how well they played, the Lions, did they do anything that you weren't expecting? I mean, we all thought that they would try and dominate up front. That's what they did. They got that first penalty in the first few minutes, and you kind of thought, okay, this is the way that they're going to play. Did they surprise you at all?
No, I knew that, and I said to my son, just wait until the test matches. If they get a penalty in the 22, they won't kick for line, they'll goal for goal. I said, because they want to win. All those other games is about trying, we'll put ourselves under pressure, we'll try to kick through this if we need to. But they're there to win the game. They're not there to entertain people, as you know.
Yeah.
Winning is very important, and it's every 12 years. And I don't think we were properly prepared for the test matches when you got 3 against some of the best players in the world. And the lead-up games and the test is basically men v boys.
They look like.
And that's been the problem.
So, just in terms of that, you've had 4 games against the Super Rugby sides where the players could have been put out there to play, but they've been kept in cotton wool. He's had a group of players kept in cotton wool. And I remember this back in, was it 2007, that Graham Henry, when he was the All Black coach, did it with the All Blacks, that the All Blacks spent all their time training in the gym and the players didn't actually play. Do you think that is part of why the Wallaby side wasn't actually very good and that the players haven't actually been playing?
Well, that's what I mean. As I said, mate, continuity is important. We should have played instead of the Australia-New Zealand game is a waste of space. You can see the players didn't want to be there. So why didn't you do an Up Australian Barbarians and put some of the test players in there, or some of the guys on the fringe, or Australia B? You know what I mean? Something that give Australian players an opportunity. I think how many Australian players did we have in that game? About 4. We had Corabetti, who played 20 minutes. He got the ball once. Why don't they send out someone out there, combination, say, guys, I want you to really have a go at this. Don't kick the ball. But that's the problem, mate. It was coached by Les Kiss, who's a rugby league player. He coached the Reds, got beat by 40. He coached the Australian-New Zealand game, lost by 40. He's our next Wallaby coach. I don't know what we're doing, mate. I honestly I'm very frustrated, but, I am who I am. I'm not going to hold back. But, with those young players, they need the experience. They need to understand this is what international rugby is about. You don't turn up, mate, you're going to get flogged.
Do you give any hope at all to Australia to be able to win this series from here?
Well, I think there's an opportunity that we've, I think the way we finished was great, but I still find it very, very sad that the captain of Australia kicks a ball dead. I think there's got to be a law against that. That's just, you can't do that, mate. Have a go, for God's sake. Not saying, just get the ball, even if you want to get the 22 and kick it downtown or something. But kick it out like that, just shows you that, mate, that's very sad, because that's not the Australian rugby that I used to know. Yes, it was a long time ago, but the thing, mate, we used to win. And everyone in the world loves winners. If you lose, it's not great. So they've got to turn up, mate. They've got to play for the 80 minutes. Keep the same players on the team for 80 minutes, for God's sake. Let them play. That's what they're getting paid for.
Do you think that Australian side, watching them on the weekend, would beat the French B team that the All Blacks have just beaten?
I think they'd struggle, because the problem is, the thing is, these days, because it's so structured, I'm coaching at a school in the Gold Coast. So I was doing the skills for the under 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, the 16s. Simple, basic skills. Half of them can't pass. No one watches the game. And this is a GPS school. It's very, very sad, and that's the problem is, and no one watches. So, it is very, very frustrating. But that's where we are, because of professionalism, because of the way we play. I don't think half the players, if a Wallaby turned up to a school, I don't think players would know who they were, because we've lost the connection between our grassroots and our system, and we've got a player. And the reason why this guy brought me in, he says that the under 13s, who I'm coaching, by the time they get to the first, they'll be changing it. We're trying to change the style of rugby, trying to get them down switches, the backs, doing moves, running flats, put the ball in the space, instead of running the brick walls. So we're trying, but mate, that's one school. We're dominated by, we got no money.
What did you think of the All Blacks series against France? What were your takeaways from that?
Well, I just thought that the obviously you can see the first test was very different compared to one was on the weekend. The French never give up, mate. That's they're so proud and have a lot of pride. Good skills. I mean, it's a great that I think Robbo's doing what Rushy does, mate. Rushy can put out five test teams, the amount of players they've got. You've got to look at what happens if you do. You've got to have good backup now. And as I think we did talked off air, I mean, you've got to have this one-season rugby internationals. You can't have seasons now. The players, professionals start in December, and then they go right through to December. They go test matches now. Then you've got Super Rugby finishes. Then they go off to Europe for more test matches. Mate, no wonder they get burnt out of their board. I mean, mate, it's 24/7, 365 days a year. I mean, they've got it. You can see by some of them, they just go through the motions. But again, when you play like South Africa or New Zealand, that's why these players want to play, because some of them never beaten New Zealand or South Africa. So they go on tour. They try to get the younger generation to come through to understand this is why these teams are the best in the world. You've got to play the best to be the best.
Are you getting a bit of corporate work through this Lions tour? They asking you to speak and things?
Oh, yeah, I do things not through Rugby Australia, though, because they're not interested.
No.
But, I have been, mate. It's been good. I've got Craig Chalmers out. He's a mate of mine. I had him around for dinner last week. Mate, it's good. I see a lot of the older guys. We have a bit of a laugh.
Well,
mate, it's very sad to see, and they even say, what's wrong with you guys? I've gone, mate, don't ask me. Go and speak to the guys who were there, from the World Cup, last World Cup, we were $4.5 million over budget. They did an inquiry, but no one knows what the inquiry was. Where was the money spent? Very sad. And the tickets are ridiculous.
We had Nick Farr-Jones and Marto on the program last week. Nick says that Marto should have caught that pass that you threw him in 89. Marto says he got the ball down before Uwayan Evans, and he said it should never have been a try. And he reckons in this day and age the TMO would have actually awarded a 5-metre scrum. Can you confirm that Marto did get that ball down first?
If you have a look, yes, but mate, who gives a shit now? I'm the one that copped it all, so don't worry about what they say.
So,
mate, look. Yeah, it was one of those things, mate, and people don't realise, if you go back and watch that series, in 3 tests, I touched the ball 2 times. The Lions starved me of possession, and I'm the player that needs to get 20 touches, make 2 mistakes, no one cares. You get the ball twice, make 2 mistakes on the wing, mate, the world knows. So, Look, it happens. That's what life's about, mate, and, it's always going to be there. I'll take responsibility, but you can talk about this, that, and the other. Can't change history, can you?
You can't. Thank you so much again, mate. Love talking to you.
Anytime, mate.
DSPN.